I just need more leads. I need a bigger audience. I need to go viral. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Nothing is further from the truth. And those that are still continuing to preach the money's in the list are speaking to an entirely different crowd. In this video, I'm going to talk about micro audiences and why this is the future in the online space, especially for coaches, healers, and people who want to work up close and personal with their clients. We're not selling widgets here. The money is not in the list. The money is in the conversations and the human connection. And PS, if you have a solid high ticket offer, whether it's 5K, 10K, 15K, whatever it is, you don't need thousands and thousands of people to buy in order to have a six-figure or even multi-six-figure business. So we have to start with focusing on the right problem, and then we can solve it. I believe because the rise of the influencer also coincided with the rise of the online business owner, that we got our wires crossed. And somehow in societal brain, the entrepreneur decided, and somehow in this collective thought, the entrepreneurs decided, if I get likes and follows, if I have a massive audience, then all my dreams will come true. People will just buy. And it's actually not true. I've worked with a lot of influencers and they're broke because they don't know how to monetize their audience. And the truth is, I have six-figure launches. I have less than 10,000 people, actually less than 5,000 people on my email list, and less than a couple thousand followers on Instagram, and maybe a few more on Facebook. So it's not about needing more, bigger. If you can't convert a micro audience, you're not going to be able to convert a macro audience. And the real question is, if you're like a lot of my clients, you don't want to work with hundreds of thousands of people buying your digital product. You want to work closely with them, whether it's in a small group coaching program or one-on-one, or even in VIP days. Most of the people I work with aren't about just selling some digital product. So why are you spending so much time on scaling activities and things that come later when really you need to be focusing on the business basics now? And I can tell you why, because you see what the gurus are doing. They're having the big events or the master classes and the workshops, and so we think, oh, we need thousands and thousands of people. But the truth is you don't. Those are scaling activities for people who are in the multiple hundreds, if not millions and above. If you're really looking to get to your first six figures and really even into your first multiple six figures, you do not need that many people. It's simple math. Think about it. If you only need 10 to 20 people to buy per year to get you to six figures, and you need a mediocre, if not pretty crappy conversion rate is 10%, then how many people do you need in your audience? 100 people. So while you're spending all this time trying to appeal to the masses, what people are doing in containers like mine is they're learning how to create offers their ideal client wants to buy. They are highly specific in who they're talking to, and they know how to lead them through a simple sales process. They know how to connect with them. They know how to effectively communicate, and they know how to book sales calls with the right people. And the reason I'm so passionate about this, you guys, is because I did it too. When I first came into the online space after being a top performing sales executive for over 2 decades, I forgot everything I knew about what made me successful in sales. And it wasn't trying to call on every lead in my call, and it wasn't trying to call on every lead in my call log. It was knowing how to strategically focus on the select few at a time, and then on to the next select few. And of course, though, I outsourced all of my power when I came onto the online space and said, how do I go viral? How do I grow an Instagram? I want to be Insta famous. And next thing I know, I'm spending all this time on content, being consistent and adding value and not knowing how to actually get the attention of my ideal buyer. And more leads is not going to fix a broken sales process. So rule number 1, can we all agree here that if you want to be a high ticket coach and work closely with a select few people, at least at first, that you don't need to focus on building out a massive audience. In fact, when I watch my clients shift this and focus on the income producing activities instead, they start booking calls immediately and closing clients that are already in their sphere. They're already in their communities one way or another. They're connected. Some of it's somebody's old hairdresser's cousin, all the way to somebody they used to work with, to someone they met in a networking event last year. But if we don't learn how to capitalize on those that are already in that warmer, know, like, and trust part of the sales process, so much harder to convert a cold audience. And the other thing I learned from all those years in sales, I'll never forget when I met with my boss for, I think, my very first ride day in the field, where he came and rode with me. And he said, give me your calendar. And I gave him my calendar. And I knew he was looking at how many appointments I had set up and how many lunches and dinners and all of these different ways to get in front, get some airtime with all these leads that they'd been giving me. And he saw it, and I thought I was going to get a gold star because I had every day of the week somebody I was meeting with. And he said, I want you to cancel half of these meetings, Jana. And I was like, what? And he said, you can't be everything to everyone all at once. Scattered energy gets scattered results. And that right there is really the foundation of what set me apart from so many others in the space. Is I knew how to focus. I knew how to have very pointed conversations quickly and strategically to identify the buying signals and those that really were interested and those that were closer to whatever the buying cycle was, or just at the point where you knew where they were and they were ready to buy. So I would focus on those first and then move into the next phase and then kind of move backwards and almost work the funnel backwards. And so while everybody else in the world is all focused on the masses and how can I get more emails and how can I get more followers, you're focused on being strategic and working your way back from hottest to coldest leads. But Jana, how do I know who these people are? Well, by having conversations with them, by connecting. And what I see, one of the biggest mistakes my clients make before we start working together is they're sacrificing conversations to create content. And it's not to say we don't do that. We definitely want to share our message daily in one way or another, but not at the risk of not pulling through people, whether it's in the DMs or on a Zoom call, having sales calls. We can't avoid the income producing activities. And it just breaks my heart when my clients come in and they've been sold all of these different strategies that they're not ready for. If you haven't had a lot of ideal clients, if you haven't worked with several people in that close space, you probably aren't ready to launch a group program. If you don't know who your ideal client is yet, you probably don't want to launch a podcast if you want that podcast to be part of your sales funnel, right? If you aren't sure how you're going to serve people and you don't want to work super duper hard and grow your audience first, starting a membership is the fastest way to burn out. Think about it. How many memberships are you in that you even forget you're in? And I have clients that come into my world that have been pouring into these memberships for $37 a month or $97 a month, trying to keep people and grow that. And there's so much more involved, so much more tech, so much more support, so many more people, so many more eyeballs. Like that's a scaling activity once you start making some money. It's actually move number 4 when you look at the different offers and where they fit on the continuum, because you want your offer portfolio to start with things with a little bit higher margins so that you can start to make money. Put your oxygen mask on first, then you can hire a team to help you go big, get more visible. For example, that's what I do now. I have a team that helps me edit these videos, helps me post on Instagram and all the other social media platforms. They're emailing and growing my list. They're helping me drive traffic to my events. But I couldn't have done all of this by myself, at least not well. So your power is in your focus. And when you can focus on those select few and having those really connected conversations where you know you're leading them through a simple sales process, booking calls with them, and then enrolling them, that's all you need to do to get to your first 6 figures. Don't let the gurus lie to you. You're not one funnel away, more than likely. If you're newer to this game, there is more work to be done around who you're actually serving and what problem you're solving and the transformation you provide. And P.S., the transformation is not the modality that you use. It is not the breath work, the inner child work, the reprogramming of limiting beliefs, and on and on and on. The transformation and the problem you solve is specifically related to a person and where they are on their journey. And if those things aren't dialed in, it doesn't matter what the strategy is. It's not going to go well. And so if you've bought into one after another, and you still aren't quite having things click, chances are you need some of these foundational pieces and you want to learn how to do these income producing activities first. And the beautiful thing about it is the more you do these activities, the more confidence you get, the more clear you get on your message and who you're serving and who you're not serving, the more effective you become in your communication. And it all blends so beautifully, because if you're trying to do all of these different things at once, that is why it's not working. It is not because you can't do it. It's because no one told you need specific skill sets to make a lot of these strategies work. It would be like signing up, let's say you're a professional baseball player and somebody tells you a strategy about how to hit home runs. Just come and hit a home run and then you run the bases. But it doesn't teach you anything about how to swing the bat, how to keep it in the whatever zone. I don't play baseball, but how to keep it where it needs to be, how to run effectively, right? To run fast, to make sure you don't get tagged out, to be able to slide. Like, those are the skills you need to make a home run go. So I don't care how many strategies somebody's trying to sell you around hitting a home run, until you know how to swing that bat and run those bases, it doesn't matter. Can you see the difference? And so stop focusing on building this massive audience. If you don't know how to convert the few, you're not going to be able to convert the many, because all of these different scaling strategies work so long as you have the skill sets to execute it. If you want to go deeper into this topic, check out the link below. We have our Selling is Sacred podcast mini-series that really dives into each of these skill sets specifically. And then if you really want to go deeper with us live, check out the link for our next live bootcamp, where we really dig into this with you over the course of 3 days together, so that you can really apply some of the things I've talked about today to your business. Otherwise, if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, share this with a friend. I am here to speak the truth and to help you get to your first 6 or multi-6 figures and beyond without feeling like a failure, without feeling like, why is it all not working? What am I missing? And the truth is, you're just missing some key pieces. And for whatever reason, you just don't hear people talking about it. So that's what I'm here to do. All right, we'll see you next time.